Hey guys, welcome to Bite Me. This is season 1, episode 41, The Truth About Not Giving a Fuck with Queen Robich, aka Siobhan. I think there's this sort of internalized misogynistic vision of what moms are supposed to act like. My children are getting older, but I remember well the days of toddlerhood and friendly mom group culture where we all got together for brunch, exchanged casual smiles, and then promptly scurried home to talk shit about each other to our husbands. A clean house, well-behaved children, dinner on the table, and a perfect view from the outside world in hardly seems realistic. Fast forward a few years when society thinks it's progressed by offering up rosé all day mommy wine culture. Yeah, we've really evolved. Come on, you guys. I see true freedom for yourself and your kids is inviting all the realness for everyone else to see. Total shit show transparency of just how hard it is to be a mom and the realization that we aren't just mothers, we're people too. Here with me today and to touch on this, and I love to say her name because it's perfect for this episode, Queen Robich, aka Siobhan or Vaughny from TikTok. Would you please introduce yourself, Siobhan, and tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, so I'm Siobhan. I have never been on a podcast before. So now I feel all nervous now that it says record.
No, it's cool.
But yeah, so I'm just like a normal mom. Just I'm a can of mom to get through the day and not be a grumpy bitch and take out my shit on my kids,
Yeah, I get it.
and not do the same stuff, my parents did. So I don't know, just I lost my youngest child, which I think is way more common than a lot of people talk about, is child loss. And so when that happened, my life changed very, very drastically. Definitely a downward turn for a little bit there. And then I stopped being a rosé all day, with a Deep Eddy lemon vodka, and totally changed my life and just became a can mom and used plant medicine. And it's just it's nice to see on TikTok that there's other moms out there. I'm not the only one. And so connection has always been really important to me, and making connections with people. I feed off of that, and that's important for me. And I think it's really important for a lot of people, and a lot of people don't have that.
I think it's really beautiful of you to share with everyone the loss of your child. There's something to be said, I think, very special about, not that it's meant to be, made a thing of light, but grief and bereavement can have a very profound effect, I think, on someone's outlook of the world. And there's something about it that afterwards really sort of improves the ability to have altruism towards other people. It just something about it. You are able to see things more clearly and have more compassion and also put up with less shit. And I think that that's why I relate to your TikToks, and probably other moms do too. So, and I also think other moms, and I haven't lost a child myself, not from miscarriage, which that is your experience, yes?
No, she was 10 days old when she died.
Okay. Yeah. So I have not experienced the death of a child in that fashion, but I think that other moms out there probably are greatly appreciative of your ability to speak on it, and the way that you speak of your child in the, I don't want to say child in heaven, because I'm not religious and I don't think you are either, but the way you speak,
she's just not here, she's somewhere else. Yeah.
Right. The way you speak about it is so endearing, and so I think that that's a wonderful thing for other moms at home who have gone through that. And I know people at home are grateful to see that. So good on you for that. But we talk about this episode, we kind of talk about just on that subject, of going through bereavement to the point where you don't give a fuck where people care about judgments anymore. You kind of become this sort of mom like me and Siobhan are. We're just
right.
We don't fuck around.
No, we don't have time for that shit. Time. It's listen, I've got a lot I'm juggling between depression, anxiety, ADHD, potential OCD, and definitely some CPTSD in there. It's just there's so many fucking letters. I don't have time for bullshit. That's it,
You don't have time for Carol's shit at the Costco. You don't have time for her
Fuck
shit.
Carol.
Fuck Carol.
No.
I don't want to hear about Carol's
No.
soccer meet where she had an exchange with another mom and she couldn't get like her cable to work. I don't want to hear about that. People are dying, Carol. Shut up.
No. Yo, no, unless the bitch has a good rollie, I'm not fucking sitting and listening.
Yeah, no. We're friend moms, you know, like that, not like there's the moms who like act like they're friends, and then there's like the real women who are like, fuck, this bitch is in jail. I gotta go bail her out real quick.
Yeah, for sure. And I bet that bitch that needed to be bailed out, you know? And so it's important. You put that energy out there, it'll come back when you need it. So it's like you bail people out eventually, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely believe in karmic intervention and things like that. And when I was in jail, that was very much so my experience with the Native women. And so there really is something to be said for, you know, do unto others as you would have done to you, because you know you're gonna need it eventually. But so being a mom and a woman sucks, but like a good bit of the time it does. Like, let's just be honest. So people like you and I, we don't glamorize it, and we love our kids and partners, but they are not the sole essence of our being. And how would you categorize, if there was a category, like what would you say your parenting style is?
I'm very honest with my children. Like that's something that I didn't have growing up. Honesty and being able to have the space to be honest and open. There's never room for that, you know. My mother had her issues, and unfortunately, you know, they were too much to handle. First of all, and this is not in a judgmental way, this at all. But you know, it was just too much for her to handle, her demons and her resentments and anger with life. And then, you know, be a single mom to two little kids at the same time, you know, and that's I never had that emotional availability. So as a parent, you know, it's really important to me that that space is there for my children, you know. So I try everything that, like, if I say something and I cringe and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I like, if I don't like it, then the kids aren't gonna like it, you know. If I don't think that's fair, the kids aren't gonna think it's fair, you know. That's not right. So just honesty and respect and verbalizing actual boundaries, and saying, not just saying don't do that, but you know, saying I don't like that, that bothers me, that hurts my feelings, or it makes me uncomfortable, and this is a boundary I'm asking you to respect. And it doesn't always work the first time, but after the second or third time, you know, it works. And it's just because they feel respected. So it teaches them to respect just by being respected, because all children do is mimic everything you do, you know. And the thing is like, it sucks as a parent to do that, because to have, you know, an open, honest, respect-based relationship with your child, because it takes so much time, and we don't have time in this world. So it's so easy to go no and not explain things to your child. And I used to do that, and it wasn't working at all. And I stopped drinking, and you know, dealt with basically, you know, losing a child and not allowing myself the time to grieve, because I had never been taught to give myself the time and the space to do that. So for a while there, I was pretty emotionally stunted. Excuse me. And I stopped drinking.
It sounds like
it changed.
It sounds like you are practicing keeping yourself in check and also keeping your children in check by explaining to them that I'm not just your mom, I'm a person, but also having that forgiveness of yourself, like, okay, I am a person, I'm fallible, like I have a right to express my boundaries even to my own children, because I have to keep my mental health in check.
Yeah, for sure. And also it's really for my kids, and I'm not saying that this is how everybody should parent. I'm just saying this is how it works for our family. Every family is different. But you know, for the kids with that full round explanation, I want to know why before I do something. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't they? It's fuck, I forgot where I was going with that because I'm all
It's like
stoned out.
learning experiences through life. It's like they are learning how they should treat themselves and how to treat other people by witnessing what you're doing, It's you're just leading by example.
Yeah, because like when my 5-year-old daughter says to Gavin, what the fuck? And I know that she's literally mimicking what I say. She's saying what the fuck because I say it to Joel all the time. I'll be like, Joel, what the fuck? All the time. It's like I walk around. I should have like fuck, what the fuck on my fuck forehead, constantly. So she's mirroring my behavior. I can't be mad at her for it because that's what she's seeing.
And she's also watching you just be a real human, and she's being a real human. So I think that there's real power in that. When the kids, like when they're ready to, my kids, when they're ready to have a conversation with me about something like sex, whatever, we're having that conversation. I don't believe in editing or censoring things from them. Certain things, obviously, they shouldn't be like seeing and stuff like that. But like, I think that's a very powerful thing to provide explanation to your children, because if you don't, then they're just leading through life blindly. And what kind of adult does that make?
Yeah.
And then,
well, not only that, but I don't want my children to blindly accept authority. That's how children, that's how children get assaulted. That's how they get abused, is by being indoctrinated from the beginning to blindly respect authority. And no, we don't do that. It's not
it teaches
healthy.
them to think for themselves as well, other than just to be a pawn in someone's game. But since we are very real with our children, we talk about mom smoking pot. My children know that I smoke. It has been explained to them that for me personally, it is medicinal. You and I both have complex PTSD, and I'm assuming that's why you used to. I don't think either of us are just, we're not over here just getting high to go to clubs, people. Like, we're in our 30s. That is not a thing that's happening. We will literally die on the dance floor.
Yeah,
we're the people taking people home. Like, we're taking them, like getting them home safely. So like when we're smoking weed, we're literally doing it because I feel like it's a healthier. There was a point when I was on like 8 different anxiety medications. Maybe you had that experience as well. For me, pot is what does it. It's about to be legal in South Dakota. So moms who smoke pot, are we just as bad as the wine culture mommies? Or what is your take on handling stress as a modern day mom?
Well, as far as like wine culture with moms, like I get it, we all need an outlet, and alcohol is such an accessible way to do that, and you can get really shitty beer for really cheap, so therapy is not cheap, and you gotta go to a doctor and you gotta have health insurance to do that, to get a prescription for drugs, and that's a fucking hassle for a lot of people, and then they gotta pay for them. So why the fuck am I not gonna get the 2 for $5 but tall boys, or like of course people are gonna smoke cigarettes because they're stressed, and it's whatever. And so it's it's what's available to you, it's what's accessible to you, and so I understand it. I am privileged enough to have the accessibility to marijuana, and tons of dispensaries not that far from here. So but I mean, I don't see it working with a lot of moms, and I see a lot of moms really struggling with coming to terms with that. And I think because of that, our parenting as moms suffers, and not in a judgmental way at all, not in a good mom, bad mom way, in a, you're hurting and somebody's not hearing you, so it just, I don't get that. I don't get that with cannabis, I don't get that. I just, my thinking was so clouded when I was drinking, and it cleared up pretty quickly after I stopped drinking. So, I mean, and I think it's so funny that a depressant is so widely accepted, but then THC is like, this big fucking bad boogeyman. Like,
well, they did it so that
I don't see anybody dying of like cirrhosis of the liver, or getting fucking colon cancer or oral cancer.
It's
like,
so people can't vote.
Here.
It's so minorities can't vote is how that started with Nixon in the 70s, I think. But and being and having been previously in jail, I can attest to the fact that if you take what they make annually on marijuana sales versus what they're making in incarceration for marijuana arrests, they're parallel. So I it's so fucked up. But you're right. No one has ever died. Like, if I smoke some weed, I can still take care of my kids. But if somebody's totally drunk, I don't know that they can still take care of their kids,
Dude, you can't even fucking take care of yourself when you're shit faced. How are you supposed to take care of little humans? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. That's an absurd thought. That's not a rational adult like thought process. Right. And the only reason like you're thinking that way is because alcohol makes you fucking dumb, man. It makes you dumb. And it sucks, but it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would argue that for some people, you can take better care. If you can take better care of yourself and your children on a medication that some pharmaceutical company made billions off of, what is the difference between that and marijuana other than, big pharma doesn't want you, to have that accessibility. But I would argue that it helps my parenting style, because you had discussed how you don't necessarily like to go out around people. And I think that's anxiety related. And I also have that issue. And I think that comes from not trusting people.
Oh,
and when you're a parent, you have to go and be around people. Like, if I'm going to a hockey game to watch my kids, I'm going to see like 100 other people. So I just need to be a little high.
Yeah.
to deal with to deal with Carol. Everybody needs to be a little high to deal with Carol, complain about how her pool isn't clean enough, or some damn white lady shit.
No.
So
I have a 75 milligram minimal edible in order to go out in public and have to deal with Carol. That is I do not eat anything below that. Other than that, it's no. I need to be fully medicated to deal with that.
Yeah. I agree. It's not worth it. But so like occasionally in your TikToks, you've touched on mentorship from strong women in your life. I think you talked about your aunt. What makes a strong woman in your eyes? Is it like the women who don't give a fuck? Like, what is a strong woman? It's not Carol. It's not her.
Unfortunately, and that sucks because God damn it, my Aunt Carol's really awesome, and I want to be like, it's not all Carol.
Oh my God, her name is Carol?
Yeah.
Oh shit, we've been talking shit about Carol. Siobhan, you should have told me.
Now
it's better
funny.
now.
Okay. She'll think it's funny.
All right. Well, I didn't
Oh my Karen God, no, I just remembered I was supposed to go to the dispensary for her. I gotta go. Anyways, but yeah, Carol, she's a good shit.
Yeah. So like in your TikTok about her, you talked about how like she wasn't the type of woman to like apologize to anybody. If she fucked up, she'd just like be nice to you. Like, I mean, what is a badass woman? Like, what makes Carol a badass?
Well, so honestly, it's just like, to me, it's all about respecting yourself. Like a badass woman respects the fuck out of herself. And I'm not talking about somebody that's like, you know, exercising and eating really well and like drinking their fucking kale smoothies. Like, like that is such an asshole thing to do. Who would market something like that? Like that's fucking rude. You just ruined smoothies.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't own a Peloton?
Fuck
What?
no.
What the hell? We aren't cool.
No. But like, you know, it's
I
like
get it.
Not that kind of respect. Like somebody who genuinely like respects their inner being and is like, you know what? I respect myself enough to not let you fucking ruin my day, Ted. Fucker, you know,
Fucking
like
Ted.
just I'm not gonna like that's a badass woman, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the woman who, like, if somebody's hitting on her in the store, she's like, "Are you lost, sir? Where's your fucking wife? Can I talk to her?" Like, it's not like, can I talk to a manager? It's like, can I talk to your fucking wife? And then you'd be like, where'd you pick up this fucking winner? Do you want to go to bingo on Wednesday and meet a real fucking man? Because I know somebody. You know? He's got a big set of balls. He's not castrated like this asshole over here that you're married to. Tell me you didn't have children with him. That's the kind of, I be doing that shit sometimes. My partner gets real embarrassed. He's like, you're embarrassing us. I was like, well, you know, you knew it was a snake when you picked it up.
Joel won't go in the fucking grocery store with me most of the time because it like, okay, so he's got pretty serious ADHD too, and like crippling fucking social anxiety in grocery stores and stuff. So COVID and like public with him was just not fucking happening, you know. It just wasn't good. And he did have to deal with some people because of what he, you know, did for work and stuff, but no,
I've heard Joel speak, and Joel seems like he's not the one, you guys. That's not, he'll tell you how it is too.
He will, but he like in the store though, he's like, please just don't fucking embarrass me. And I'm like, why? Don't you love me for who I am? And he's like, no, please just give this to me. Don't do it to me. So now he just doesn't go to the store with me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I can't change who I am, though. There is no filter. This is why you and I get along. From here to here, straight diarrhea of the mouth. There is no filter. Yes. Like, if I'm thinking it, I'm saying it. It's got to really, really, like, we have to be at a funeral or something for me to be like, oh,
I know, but then I'm just gonna laugh because I already laugh when really uncomfortable. So I laughed at my own daughter's funeral. So, and everybody fucking heard me. So you know what? Fuck, I'm in the most uncomfortable situation. So fuck that shit.
Yeah. It could be argued that maybe is a healthy coping mechanism, you know? I would say that you handle that situation in a very healthy manner. You have to address some of your grief with a little bit of humor because that is the human experience. Like, what are we supposed to do? Just go on not living? You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No.
The thing or the person that no longer exists, like, we have to live on in their legacy, in their memory, because otherwise we're not really honoring that thing or that person, is how I feel. So, I mean, if you felt like laughing at your child's funeral, then I think that was your prerogative to do. And I don't think shame on anybody for judging you, you know?
Well, you know, nobody judged me, I don't think, because it was fucking warranted, okay? So this priest, we had a Catholic service because my grandma and stuff, and I just, you know, and she never lost a grandchild before. So, or no, that's a lie. It was actually the second one. But like, I love her. So it was like, I got her baptized and we had like the, you know, church service for that. But, and my uncle Kevin, you know, took care of it and whatever. And, but the priest, he fucking said, man, this, so, Grace Potter, she sings this gorgeous song, Stars. And I absolutely love this song. So, I a friend, Patrick, he was singing and playing guitar, and I wanted him to sing that song, but it was too complicated just to learn it in a couple days. And he like didn't have the time to sit down and learn it. So they just played it on a stereo. But so the priest, he goes, instead of saying Stars by Grace Potter, he goes, I'm not sure, but some song from Lion King. And I just said,
my God.
what the fuck? Over at me, she's like, did you just say what the fuck? And then I'm
She play why should I be should
like, oh, what?
Did he hold something up too? Was there a rock and he took like another kid and he was like Simba? That's awful.
He
That's
also
awful.
like played, it was just awkward, and he also like played this really awkward drum thing, and I just started laughing.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to him or anything, but it was so fucking uncomfortable. I just started laughing.
Well, yeah.
And Joel's looking over at me. He's like, shh. I'm like, what the fuck? Just make it stop. So yeah, needless to say, I don't have a filter. Long story short.
Oh my God, it's like the most beautiful, awful story I ever heard.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, we're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back on Bite Me. All right, guys, welcome back to Bite Me. We're here with Siobhan, aka Queen Robitch from TikTok. So Siobhan, we talk about how can moms and women better handle assholes. You handle them masterfully on TikTok. How can we better handle judgment of asshole strangers and also dealing with asshole children? Like, tell us what is the key to dealing with assholes in general?
I just try and never forget that I have a really, really good deep down asshole, and everybody has that asshole. And if you want to flex yours, I'll happily fucking flex mine. So, I don't. No.
Fair exchange is no robbery. Like, if they're an asshole to you, that's free reign to be an asshole back. Don't ever put up with anybody's shit. I feel like
mutual respect is a mutual fucking thing.
Yeah.
And as soon as that, that's a mutual agreement. And then as soon as somebody violates that mutual agreement, then it is null and void, and it is fair fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't ever stop to think about if somebody's being a dick to me, I don't ever stop to think about their rights at that point. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to do this now. So, and then they usually don't know what to say. Cause I think people like you and I, who maybe don't go and engage with people that often, I think they're not expecting it from us. And then when the head sort of, makes that turn like The Exorcist, they're like, what? They don't know.
Yeah. People really get taken aback by it. And I have to say, I didn't know that the way that I am, where I'm very like open and blunt and I just say whatever I'm thinking, I thought that's really how like everybody was. And it took me a little bit to realize that no, most people don't just fucking vomit out what's in their stupid fucking face at that moment, They filter it.
I've been told, and it was a hard realization for me, and an even harder realization to find out that I do not have the ability to turn it off.
Yeah.
You don't either.
Well, I'm trying to think here if I am that responsible as a human, and I don't think I am. I think I like to think that I have some control over it, but in the end, that little gremlin is going to take over for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe that does go back to some sort of neurodivergent tendencies. I mean, we talk about autism and ADHD and being on the spectrum and things that affect our decision-making process. And I do think I have I mean, I have enough impulse control that if there's like somebody's got some meth in front of me, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, let's do meth. I'm going to be like, I don't want any meth. I'm good. But like, if I'm seeing something in public and there's a guy checking out women's asses, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to record him, you know? That's the best thing. Can I just tell everybody right now, if you have no other reason to create a following on any social media site, please allow me to express to you the very fulfilling feeling of just recording assholes and posting it all over the internet. They change their tune real quick. It's the best. I mean, I really feel like I'm doing God's work some days.
You know, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, people should be held accountable for their behavior. I've always been held accountable for mine, and people should also own it too. If you did it, own it, say it. You have to tell people the truth and then let them do what they will with it, is how I feel. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you do that.
Unfortunately, and unfortunately, I think everybody gets the truth, but then unfortunately, there's a much larger population that decides to take that truth and run with it and make up some fucking fabulous, ridiculous story, you know?
Yeah. It's like the news and media outlets.
Yeah.
To make money.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, well, not, and it's I'm not trying to demonize media or anything like that, because, you know, journalism and free speech, like, that's so incredibly important, you know? But like anything, it can be abused. And, you know, unfortunately, it is abused. And it kind of ruins it for, you know, everybody else that's working really hard to, you know, be an honest, true reporter, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that really sucks. And, you know, Donald Trump, his administration really weaponized that.
Yeah.
You know, they were very intelligent on how they did that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this in, you know, a good way. I'm saying it in like a
Nazi propaganda way. Yeah. Know? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, fucking Gates, that stupid fucking goon. I don't know. That man's on drugs. I'm sorry. He's smoking crystal meth or some fucking shit, because you don't make listen, and this is coming from somebody, I have had my fair fucking share of booger sugar, okay?
Oh yeah.
And
me too.
I'm a total fan of, you know, any kind of stimulant. Fucking give it to me all day, every day, dopamine to the brain, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't make rational fucking decisions on it.
No.
And you do fucked up shit. This guy is fucked up.
They're all like that, like Trump Jr., Marjorie Taylor Greene, like something, like they're not right, and they're Nazis. They're Nazis. They're not right in the head.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it, because, like, you know, where I live, like we talked before, there's a lot of famous people, you know?
Yeah.
And I live around, and I worked at a restaurant that was owned by Robert Trump. And so
what was that like? Talk to us a little bit about Robert Trump.
Well, see, Robert's funny. I'm biased. I only knew him for that 2.5 year period. But in that 2.5 years, to me, he was nothing but respectful. And he was nothing but gracious. When my dad died, he gave me a $500 check towards his funeral expenses, you know.
It's nice that you give him credit where credit's due. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm not just gonna blindly, you know, bash somebody.
Yeah.
And not give a full picture, because that's fucked up.
Right.
You got to give a full picture. Everybody's got their ups and downs, you know. Some people have way more downs. And but yeah, so in that aspect, and you know, he gave a lot of money to a horse charity called Lucky Orphans, and they're in Dover, New York. And that charity, the woman who runs it, Deanna, she's an incredible woman. And you know, she works really hard, and she works with veterans and equine therapy and stuff. So, you know, before, when he was alive and well, he gave her a lot of money. But But Robert, at the time it was his girlfriend. They were not married, Anne Marie. They got married after, but her family, they have a very fucked up codependent, but they're also like, their family also is, you know, they own the Venetian room, you know, back like in the mob days, in the Italian mob days when they were thriving. And so like, that's, you know,
Yeah.
so that's them, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of mentality.
It's a mob mentality.
Yeah, and the family
people.
run that way. The families run like an organization.
Yeah. And then they project and say, look at this thing, not the other. So people don't have that realization.
And Robert's wife, Anne Marie, she's no fucking dumb. She is a very smart fucking woman. She's very calculated.
Yeah.
And I respect that. She's also a survivor. But
I bet they do a good job of keeping it a secret. Like
they are her sister Teresa, the shit she used to fucking say, it just made me cringe. She used to talk about, I can't say it because I won't say these racial slurs.
I get it.
But yeah. Like for example, there was a bunch of people and they put out nuts at the bar, and her brother Chip was putting them in a bowl, and they had Brazil nuts in it. And she goes, yeah, oh, get those out of there. I don't want any, you know, toes in my trail mix.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's just really sad, because there was no reason to even say that. I mean, there's never a reason to say that, but I'm just saying, like, you didn't even use it in a situation where you were like, that's just blatant ignorance for no fucking, like, why? Like, so gross, and there are hardly words.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I said though, Anne Marie and her relationship with her daughter Jenna, I am going to give credit to the fact that their relationship was so incredibly strong. You cannot break that relationship, and it's like almost witchy, you know. And Jenna's incredibly intelligent too, and they're beautiful, so you know they have that advantage. And but I mean, so
it just all sounds really fucked up. Like, hiding secrets at the, like, the thing for me about the Republicans and the conservatives, and my daughter's father and his family is like this. They are willing to keep the secrets of the family at the expense of their own mental health.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, it's weird. Nuts. It's so like
selling your soul.
Incestuous too. It's like, yeah. When I stopped working for them, when Donald like officially started running his campaign, it was just like it was too gross, because Anne Marie's fucking smart. She saw the opportunity. She's like, fuck that. Like, I'm with Robert, have been, like, I'm gonna get his shit, you know, at some point. She's not stupid. And she's like, of course I'm gonna want to, you know, be with the brother of the president of the United States of America. So she fucking hopped on that bandwagon. Like, and I don't blame her, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to throw shade on her game. Like, you do you. But, you know,
couldn't be me.
I like to sleep at the end of the day. So
Yeah. That, to me, I mean, Jesus, seriously, all these people, you know, to a point, money will bring you happiness and comfort, you know, a shelter, some food, things like that. But beyond that, I couldn't sell my soul so that I could, you'd have Mai Tais on your yacht, but would you be happy with those people? You couldn't be yourself. That's not happy. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. So anyways, I don't do toxic anymore. I decided when I turned 30 that I'm like, no, I'm not doing toxic. So I don't do that shit anymore. I don't deal with people like that.
It's
and the majority of the world is fucking like that right now. So I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I stopped being like I don't know if anybody follows, it used to be Rattle on TikTok. Now it's Team Good Guy, but she was talking about how she stopped being friends with Republicans, and I know it sounds like so very like toddler and like, oh, but it's more
Mm-hmm.
complex than that and there's a whole gray area, but it's really not. And I stopped being friends with
Not
Republicans too,
anymore.
and my life is like I feel healthier, like I'm in
Mm-hmm.
my lane, you're in yours, we don't need to talk, and
Mm-hmm.
that's we don't have things in common, we don't have the same
Mm-hmm.
value system.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, for sure. But I think that also goes with like getting older, and realizing how incredibly important boundaries are and how that is the number one thing that should be like completely taught with your
yeah,
child. Like without a doubt that it's the one and only thing other than love your child, you teach them boundaries, because if they can't have a healthy relationship in their life, then they can't have any fucking healthy thing in their life. Like
yeah,
relationships are vital for humans. Like humans need relationship with other humans, in some form or another. And if you can't raise them to be able to be in a healthy relationship, they're fucked.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
and to have a healthy relationship with themselves, absolutely.
Uh,
So last and
yeah, for
unrelated
sure.
question, or maybe it's kind of related, like you and I ourselves, we're bitches. I love it. I love being a bitch.
Mhm.
It's the greatest. Like tell us your hands down. Like you've already told me a couple of them, but maybe you can think of one that tops the top. Like your best ever tale of tales, Queen Robich moment. When is the time that you just owned it, no fucks given, and everyone just watched like, what the fuck? Like, can you think of a time? Was there a grocery store or an event with Joel, or just some time in your life that you remember and specifically that maybe a time when you knew you were different?
um, when I like truly realized that I always had a suspicion that I operated differently than a lot of people, not than everybody, but than most people. And I, even from an early age, I was always very observant and aware and like of people's body language
Yeah.
and how they regulated their voice. And so I've always been hyper aware of that, and everyone around me. Like it's not even necessarily I have to like look at people. It's just I don't know. I just can read the room.
Yeah.
And so I've always been able to manage emotion, in fucked up situations, but not manage them in normal everyday to day. And so, but I just thought I was making that up in my head. Like I don't actually like deal with situations that well. Like I would tell myself, after like some really fucked up traumatic thing happened that shouldn't happen in front of kids, I would like give myself a pat on the back and be like, well, I think I handled that, pretty well. Like walked away, like, oh yeah, like it was fucking normal. But I thought that was everybody,
Yeah.
like, and then I started to realize less and less, like I wasn't relating with people. And so I got into healthcare when I was 18, and I related with taking care of people. And so I loved hospice work. And, I saw a lot of different people die and took care of and saw people in a lot of really vulnerable situations that a lot of people won't see in their lifetime, if they're blessed, or, will only see a few times. But so I realized like, I love taking care of people. So I started to do that. And I didn't realize that it was starting to like eat me up, because it was so monotonous, and it was like every day today, like it was like, they became like a family. And, I don't know, I didn't feel right. And so I worked per diem at the hospital across the street from the nursing home. And I worked, I was in the ICU, and I got called to the ER. And this girl that I worked with, but had just come in, and her and I had gotten into a confrontation like a couple of months before that. And her mom worked at the facility, and she, said, anyways, I got put on probation. I said some fucked up shit to this girl. So I get called to the ER, they have an emergency, and it's this girl, she's fucking dead. But they can't pronounce her. She's 18 years old, and she had been submerged in 15-degree water. So she's currently, when she came in, she was 82 degrees. So you can't pronounce a minor, or I think it's like anybody like under 20, I don't know. There's like somewhere around there. You can't pronounce them until they're like 94 degrees, I think. So that's a long way to go. So I was the smallest one. I'm not small anymore, but I was the smallest one. And so I did compressions on her while everybody around me worked. And they were doing peritoneal lavages, and they were flushing warm fluids, and, doing like warm boluses. It was crazy, and I remember, and I'll never forget it. It was literally like my brain shut time down, and everything was so calm and collected. And I heard absolutely everything that was meant for me and absolutely nothing that was not meant for me. And for over an hour, I did compressions on her. And then when it was time to get her to the OR, I had to straddle her while they were still like, doing compressions as they wheeled me through. And when I got off that and everything was all done, I felt totally fucking normal. It was just like, boom, I snapped out of it. And it was like this incredible like rush. I just felt so happy and calm. And then when ER nurses who had been doing this for 45 years, like came up to me and they said, we've never seen somebody your age shut down and just focus. And they were like, you have to become an ER nurse. And so like that got in my head, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm actually good at something, like, and that train of thought put in motion the rest of my life. And it was because my life would be very different without that, extremely different. I would have made very different choices.
It sounds like that's the moment where you realized that you were more capable than you thought you were.
Yeah. And so I chased that. I really did. I chased that for a long time. So I love fucking cocaine.
Yeah, like you realized your full potential.
I was like, give it to me.
Yeah, like if I can do that in that situation, imagine what I can do high.
Yeah. I know, right? And it's like, it's funny because like, and because I had that situation when my daughter Lily, my middle child, when she was born, she was accidentally born at home. And because we went to the hospital and they sent us home, and then it ended up being a precipitous birth.
Yeah.
So she came out uber fast.
I had that with my daughter. I didn't even know what a precipitous birth was until you mentioned it in one of your TikToks, and I Googled it, and I was like, holy, because my daughter came out 45 minutes start to finish. I will never forget Siobhan laying on that bed, and the nurse, I will never forget the nurse looking in my eyes saying to me when I asked for an epidural, honey, there's not time. Holy shit. I thought I was going to die. It was awful. But it was quick.
Yeah.
And I recovered quickly.
Oh my.
That bitch came flying out of me. Flying. Came out with wings.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Well, thank God I had leggings on because my leggings caught my daughter. It caught her fucking head. I had a crab walk over to the fucking couch.
My water sprayed. The dogs tried to what? What'd the dogs do?
It was my dog's couch was the closest piece of furniture from the front door.
Well, that works.
She was born on the dog's couch. Yeah. And actually, technically in a barn. She was born in a barn because we lived in an apartment above a barn on a horse farm at that time. So
your baby is Jesus. She's the next Jesus.
Don't tell her that.
You can tell Joel, this is Jesus's baby. You're the Joseph of the new age.
He's so done with that child. He's like, I don't have fight in me for this. This is not something, I can't do this. So, not fighting with it.
I was watching Pink's.
Like, you're so smart.
Like, I'm a fan of Pink, and I was watching her new special on Prime, and she was talking about how everybody thinks she's this badass because she never takes any shit. And then her son walks by and tells her to shut up or something. She's like, I ate shit for breakfast. It was such a real moment, because that's Pink, and this kid was owning her, and that's how it's like with your kids sometimes, but you can embrace it to a point because they're so submerged in their themness, and that's a beautiful thing. They're not jaded yet. So I embrace your wild child and mine that both came out in 45 minutes flat because they were running towards something,
Yeah,
still running.
Oh my God, she's not gonna stop. And and I feel bad for Gavin too. Like, Joel and I joke, but we're like kind of serious. We're like, oh, he's our practice child. We gotta cram some break. Like, seriously, poor kid. Like, I had no business being a mom at 23 years old. Like, fucking no business whatsoever.
I get it.
And I am sure I fucked that child up. I'm positive of it.
Oh yeah, your first one, you fuck it up hands down. I did. I was 19.
Ugh, girl.
I know.
You fucked so much up.
I did. I truly did. Okay. I recognize this. Me and my son haven't spoken in like 4 years, but I respect his decision. And he's also being like, yeah, I mean, like, he's being manipulated by his father as well. I mean, things did happen between me and him that I acknowledge and take responsibility for, but I've been told, respect his decision and he'll come back. It's like the whole butterfly, let it go. And if it's yours, it'll come back. And I also find solace in the fact that my daughter thinks that, like, I'm amazing. So I'm like, well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, right? If you only fuck up one.
Here's the thing though, like, by you respecting his decision and like giving him that space, you're mirroring to him that's an acceptable thing to do, is to give somebody their space, and then
boundaries,
and and so he'll recognize that eventually and feel safe. My mom and I, we have a really fucked up, weird relationship. We'll go times without talking, and
me and my mom are like that too. Something with the boomer generation, there's a disconnect between the women that they just don't prioritize the relationship or something. It's their own childhood trauma, Yeah. It's not us.
It's almost like they want us to like be cold-hearted bitches so that we can deal with the harsh reality of what is the fucking white cis man,
Yeah, like they think they're doing us a favor. Weird.
Ugh. It's fucked up.
Yeah, they're fucked up.
It's like you watch, I think that's why we all love to watch those shows with families. Like, what's that one about Rupert Murdoch, and there's that character Siobhan on it. What's it called?
I don't know. I watch a lot of reality TV.
No. It's on HBO, I think.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Anyways, I smoked too much pot. That's what happened. I can't remember.
I know, me too. I had an edible and things are going on now, but it's okay.
See?
I think we got some good stuff here today. I want to thank Queen Robich, aka Siobhan, for coming on today. And it was such a pleasure meeting you. And is there any, like, what do you got going on in your life? Do you want to advertise anything? Do you have anything you want to say to the people? Oh, there. Okay, I thought we were frozen.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
we're here.
Yeah, I don't know. What do I say? I don't have anything like to sponsor or anything like that. Other than just like, it's important that everybody know that everybody has that urge for connection, and it's important, and it's totally okay to be vulnerable to another human being, because if they treat you like shit, that's on them,
yeah,
and that's not on you, that's on their behavior and their own fears. and, you know, just keep being like a beautiful person. Because I feel like beauty looks very, very different, and comes in all sorts of different like colors and hues and, you know, shapes and sizes. And it's just really important just to remember that, so that maybe we can figure out this fucked up world and make it a little bit better, you know,
I think that's
not like
beautiful.
completely burn our ozone and all that.
That would be lovely if the
Because
world.
it's okay.
Yeah, I would love it if the planet, I mean, it's already on fire, but I want my children to experience it a little.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
all right.
Well, I think, you know, if everybody had a dead baby, I think everybody would think differently. But fortunately, everybody doesn't go through that. So everybody has their own journey, you know?
yeah,
everybody-
totally. Totally. I think what you're saying is you want everybody to be their best version of themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So for
And
more
that's super idealistic.
For more information on modern and perfect mommying, you can visit parents.com for the article Unpacking the Perfect Mom Myth. And for overstressed mom relief, you can visit verywellmind.com. As always, check out the Truthful Groomer website and follow me on Twitter and Insta. And we'll see you guys out there. Thanks for joining us today on Bite Me.